This is Evangelist Terry Carter. Once again, I haven't been on the computer for a while with a video. But first of all, I want to say Happy Easter to everybody, because today we celebrate the resurrection of Christ. Today I want to discuss things that are happening that the average American people either are ignoring, or they don't want to, or they refuse to accept it, or they don't believe it's happening, or they are for whatever is happening. We have a president in office, Barack H. Obama, who is at this very moment building a civilian militia to attack the citizens of the United States. Most of these militiamen are young men that's being trained now between 18 and 25 years old. And under the Second Amendment of the Constitution, it says that we shall have a militia. In the United States at the present time, each state has its own National Guard unit. And there is no justifiable need for a civilian militia. The United States at the present time is facing possible dangers in Iran and with North Korea, and we're still fighting the battle in Afghanistan. The administration in the past has used our state's National Guards to fight overseas with our regular armies. It is my belief that it is Obama's plan to engage foreign government to once again for us to face another war outside of this country, and he will commit our National Guard units, who are supposed to be there for the protection of the states, to once again fight battles overseas. And while this is going on, this new civilian militia will be trying to take away Americans' guns. It is very clear that President Obama is a Muslim. It is becoming very clear that he's possibly even a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, and maybe even Al-Qaeda. It seems awful strange to me that that this man has been able to gain the power that he has so fast. I had never even heard of the man back in 2008 until they started running presidential election ads. It is my belief that Obama is another Hitler, trying to take over the United States, and Congress is blind to this fact. Or perhaps there's even members of Congress that are in cahoots with Obama. This country is about to face a very great crisis. The United States dollar is beginning to lose its value overseas. In the past, the U.S. currency has been considered a reserve for the world. Other countries now are converting to other currencies and other monetary values than the American dollar. And if this trend continues, we will have a situation that is far, far worse than the Great Depression of 1929. We keep hearing about how well our stock market's doing, and we keep hearing how the housing market is starting to go back up and car sales are going back up. But I want you to know one thing. When the stock market fell in 1929, it happened overnight. And when people woke up the following morning, they had nothing. I believe that this once again is going to happen. The history will repeat itself because the United States cannot continue to borrow money. At the present time, the United States can't even pay the interest on the money that it's borrowing. Now, back in 29, those of you that's old enough to remember the Great Depression, you know how bad it got. But if this total collapse of the U.S. economy occurs, this is what will happen. Your IRAs, your monies that's in the bank, supposedly insured by the FDIC, will be gone. You will have no savings. Factories will shut down. Stores will close. Trucks will not be able to deliver food and commodities to the stores. There'll be a problem being able to obtain gasoline. And as you know, if you can't get food in stores, you can't provide for your family. Your kids will starve. And I know that the United States recovered from the last depression, but I do not believe that it will be able to recover from this one that's coming up. Because the United States will not be able to borrow any money. Once again, this opens the doors to all the borrowers that we have borrowed money from, countries like China and other different countries, to come in. China has bought lots of land in the United States that would give them the right to come in here, and it would become a very critical and dangerous situation. With the militia that Obama is forming, there is likely a lot of blood will be shed, because the Americans will not give up their right to the firearms. My first suggestion is, first of all, we need to pray for the country. The second suggestion is that you try to invest in gold and silver if you're able to do so, where you can have a little bit of finances to sustain yourself during this period. Obama has committed many offenses that he should have been already impeached for. He is not a U.S. national. He came to America on a student visa from Indonesia. He has dual citizenship. He's a British citizen, and he is a citizen of Kenya. His birth certificate from Hawaii is a forged document. But he has refused to allow people to see his records. In my opinion, President Obama is a traitor to this country. He has committed various acts of treason and will continue to do so. His use of the executive privilege is abusive and overused, and he is becoming a dictator. Now, these same things that we're seeing today occurred in Germany. Hitler was a person that was barely known, and he suddenly raised to power. And this is the same way with Obama. It's a known fact that in Chicago and California, Hawaii, that he associated with known Marxist associates, communist associates. He has lied to this country, saying that he is a Christian, and yet on YouTube, if it's still on YouTube, there is a video where he admits that he is a Muslim. Of course, this has been hid from the American people. If the Congress and the Senate does not act immediately, the United States, as we know it today, will be no more. I love this country. I've never been in the military, but I have been in public service most of my life, the job occupations that I have had. And when I worked in law enforcement, I took an oath to defend the U.S. Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And even though I might be retired from law enforcement now, I'm still obligated to that oath. I do not have any weapons, but I will use my voice to fight for the cause. And the Bible tells us that in the last days perilous times shall come, that men shall be lovers of their own selves and boastful in pride. And today, not only has Obama threatened the economy of this country, not only is he stomping over the United States Constitution, the moral standards of this country is going down because he supports gay rights. Now God has not changed. He's the same God that he was when he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you read the first chapter of the book of Nahum, those first 8 verses will tell you that God controls things. He controls the wind, he controls the rain, he controls drought, he makes the earth to quake. God controls all these things. Now, a year or so ago, there was an earthquake in, I believe, in Virginia that caused damage to the Washington Monument. And I believe this to be a warning sign from God. That this country needs to get down on its knees, it needs to repent, and it needs to change its ways. The atheists are gaining too much power. If this country legally accepts gay marriage, the judgment of God will come upon this country. I have no doubt of this. That I feel this in my spirit. I'm not actually a prophet, but today I'm prophesying to you. If things do not change in this country, God will bring judgment upon it. If you check with the U.S. Geological Survey, you'll find out that the activity along the California west coast, the earthquake activity along the California western coast has been increasing. The city of San Francisco is another Sodom and Gomorrah, and the fact that the citizens of California have voted against gay marriage, and yet the Obama administration and the Supreme Court are trying to override the will of the people. These things are serious events. If the economy collapses, we won't be able to buy food for our children. Medical care will be probably non-existent. Our seniors will suffer. Social Security will be gone. Medicaid will be gone. Because the country will not have the funding for these programs. I think that President Obama, I think that immediate impeachment proceedings should begin on both him and the Vice President. There has been recorded instances of voter fraud in this last election where people voted several times, and where some of the voting machines, where people voted for Mitt Romney, the machine switched it over to Barack Obama. All these things, something's not right here. For this man to gain the power that he has and to raise and to cause the problems that he is causing, he has to be demon possessed, just like Hitler. He has some magical control over the Congress. But if Congress does not act upon these things, then the American people will have to do it. Nobody likes war. Nobody likes war. But I believe that if something does not happen in Washington soon, that's what it's going to come down to. Because as I said in the beginning of this message, the Americans will not give up their guns. Anyway, I'm running past my a lot of time for YouTube and Facebook as far as movies. But anyway, America, wake up. Young people, you may have voted for Obama. You may think he's the greatest person in the world. But you're being deceived. Those of us that are older in this country, we know history. We have seen what has happened in the past. And history has a tendency to repeat itself. So if you want this country to remain free, we need to march on Washington by the millions and demand that Obama be impeached. Write letters to your congressmen and your senators and your state governors demanding this action. Because if he is not impeached, there will be civil war in this country. My main theory is that they're afraid to impeach Obama because he is black. Now, I myself, I am not a racist. If there was an African, if there was a Native American in office or a Latino in office, another white person in office, and they was committing the things that Obama is, I would still want them impeached. So to me, it's not a matter of race. But I think the people are afraid in Washington that there will be a racial riot if they take steps against Obama. But I'll tell you what's coming, if it does come, will be far worse than any racial riots this country has ever seen. And what can we do about it as Christians? We can pray, for one thing. We can seek God's face. We can write our congressmen and our senators and our governors and demand that impeachment proceedings begin against Barack Obama, and demand that the records that he has sealed be opened and that a full investigation is made into this man that has suddenly gained power, and has gained power very fast. I mean, what other reason would he have to buy 2,700 riot control vehicles and $1 million for hollow point ammunition, if not but to attack America's own people? I have seen videos of these vehicles on train tracks being taken to places in various parts of this country. There is deceit going on in Washington, and we need to stop it. If Congress cannot open their eyes to this, and the Senate can't open their eyes to what's going on, I myself, I'm not a rebel leader. But I'm telling you that consequences will happen. And that the patriotic Americans will, by force, if necessary, remove this man from office. The fact that he has closed the White House to visitation is alarming too. He has been building a new bunker there that we know on the west wing of the White House. He's claiming that it's because of expenses. No, it's because he needs more Secret Service protection because of the threats that he has been receiving on his life. In other words, he is running scared. So he has his Muslim friends and his communist associates to help him out. And if we don't do something soon, it will be too late. Anyway, this ends my message today. Hope you all have a great Easter, and I want you to ponder upon these things. Thank you and have a good day.